Hey guys, what's up? It's me again.
Anti-Ran.
Yeah, you probably see him blow up the internet. All right, real quick, I just want to go through some things. Now, this is going to be, for everybody, but it's specifically for the Wing Chun audience, okay? But it is for everybody, but the Wing Chun audience should hear it, okay? So, I posted a video yesterday, and it was with yours truly over here. And, he got contested. Someone asked him to battle, and they went down, and you'll see the video if you want to check my Instagram post. But that aside, I just want to show some of the things that happen in there that happen so fast that people aren't, ready to see with their visible eyes, okay? So I'm going to try to break it down slow motion first, and then I'm going to just show how it's typically taught and then how it should be executed. So, number one, the guy was feeling him out, so he's throwing his jab, Now, Tyran was calm, and he kept his gauge, he kept this distance. So this distance right here is perfect because in this little sphere right here, this little circle, I can see his feet and I can see the top of his head, okay? So that means if he's gonna throw a kick, I can see that and I can move. If he's gonna throw his hands, I can see that and I can move. And you'll see that in the fight, basically, Tyran was just waiting, engaging, and he was comfortable. There was a time he threw a jab that he positioned himself poised to get ready to do what he was eventually going to do. Okay, so now that's the setup. Okay, now gauging and timing and position, while that's not necessarily just a Wing Chun thing, it is a fighting thing, and it's something that I take seriously in my school. Okay. So while to the outside world that may seem regular, for us, in our setup and in our waiting, getting into position doesn't just mean that we get into position just to counterattack. So what I mean by that is, if he would have thrown his jab like the guy threw his jab, and I stood here to hit and then go back, and then you throw 1-2, and I throw 1-2 so I can go back. So yeah, I didn't get hit, and I was able to cover it, but I wasn't able to do any damage to him, okay? So we can be here for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour doing the same exchange, but the point of a fight, of a real fight, is that you want to try to finish it pretty quickly. So you'll notice that the clip itself was about 15 seconds or so, maybe a little bit more, and that was the whole thing. But the actual fighting was about 10 seconds from conception to completion. All right, so now here's a couple of things that was Wing Chun that happened. So the first thing is he threw the punch, and we have what we call is a pak sao. So in boxing, some people might call it pairing, okay? But this is we call it a pak sao. So now typically the way Wing Chun in general, and we do it as well, a pak sao, you might step out and back 45 degrees. You might step out 45 degrees towards him, or we might simply, like what he did, was set up the pak so he can get the punch. And while this was happening, he moved his back leg, pushed his front leg forward so he can do a bung gurt. So when he came in, he went like this, and essentially what he was trying to do was get that nerve behind the knee. If he wanted to have that fight just stop right there, see, the guy actually pulled back. So when he went boom and he went here, the guy pulled back and he kept on. And you'll notice the first punch, second punch, and so on. And in Wing Chun, this is called choi choi, or chain punching, all right? So I want you to notice the stance, number one, first and foremost. So everybody thinks that a typical Wing Chun'er is supposed to fight like this, squared up. And while on movies it looks phenomenal, and it's not to say that if I stood here, he came with something, that I couldn't do something else. It's just not practical for someone who's actually trying to take your head out, okay? So you'll notice the stance is a little bit different, all right? Again, and in Wing Chun, typically we're on our heels, okay? So you see I'm very low. So even if I was like this and I'm squared off and he came in, boom, I could still do that. But what we want to do is to make sure that the person that will fight, especially on the street, is we want to get in their mind into their element, okay? So when I stand like this and I'm moving, I'm in their element. This is the street element. But it doesn't negate the fact that the Wing Chun principles have to come into play. So, few things happen here. He punches, boom, there's the pox out. Immediately he goes for the punch. He goes for the bonger. He continues to go down forward, punches him, punches it, punches it. Now, what you don't see, because the video happens so fast, right before the guy went down, you'll see, and this is in the third form, you'll see that he got him here. You'll see this is typically done in the third form. He comes out, and you'll see Tyran kind of move with his elbow right into position. So he actually hit the guy in the head. You didn't see it on the video, unfortunately, but he hit the guy on the head. The guy kind of turned his back and squirmed. Tyran continued to chase after him, and when he got him, he basically with a lancao and this, well, mansao and this, the kid flipped on the floor. When the guy was on the floor, he immediately jumped in position. Bop, 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 bop. Shot, 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 shot. The guy still, I told him, you want to stop, you want to stop, you want to stop. He didn't say it, so I wanted to be fair for both of them. So Tyran immediately moved, boom, in position, went around, choked him. He made sure his elbow was tight and clamped him with his legs, and that was it. So what we're missing here are these little things. Pak, punch, bonger, choi choi, okay? All of these things happen. Moving, boom, third form. Coming in, sweeping, going on the ground, choi choi, elbow, elbow. So all of those things are indicative of Wing Chun. But because it happens so fast, so a perfect example, he throws a punch. He's just gonna throw one punch. And I wanna show you, we go here, boom, okay? So I throw, slow motion, a pop, and this is a shot to his face, and my leg gets me here to break his knee, pop, 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 and so on. But when you see it real time and when you see what actually happened, it's all Wing Chun. I don't go into him here, because if he throws this shot, and this is a huge misconception for Wing Chun. People think, number one, that we're gonna fight like this. Number two, that I'm gonna throw in my center line and get myself punched. Now, it sounds and looks funny, but that's actually what people think. This is not the Wing Chun that we do, okay? So, that being said, you got Pak, you got Da, you got Bonger, you got Choi Choi, and you have your elbows, and so on. And all of this happened in 10 seconds because a fight shouldn't be meant to last longer. And this could have gotten really, really, really brutal and ugly. I don't want, this is why we don't train, we train for stamina, we train for conditioning, we train for all that. If the fight had to be 2 minutes, it would have been 2 minutes. If it had to be 5, it would have been 5. But if it doesn't need to be, then it doesn't need to be. So meaning, he throws, and then I throw, and then he pops, and then I go, and I do Bill, and then I hit, and then he hits, and then we come in, and then he throws, and he gets something. It looks cool. So there's, for example, if I did a gun, and then he came in, and I did a quan, and then I came in and punched. Again, that would be phenomenal. The problem is that if I stay there stagnant to do this and this, it doesn't necessarily work the way it's supposed to be made. So sometimes the things that happen like a blur, all of the techniques are in there, but they're meant to happen proactively. At the end of the day, I'm trying to hurt him, I'm not trying to play with him. So if I were to stay here and do a gung, and then he comes in, and I did a gung, and then a lap da, you see my body has to move. And this is, I think, number one problem in a lot of arts. So they stay here, and they stay here, boom, boom. And the reality is, he's not gonna be throwing like this. So throw a 1, 2. Boom. See that? That's really what's happening. Now if he throws that same 1, 2, and I go, boom, boom. See, I moved into him. Now we're talking about combat. And this is where we have to distinguish between the workout, the form that we have is phenomenal. Everything stems from the form, the Tan Sao, the Gung Sao, you got Bang Sao. When we put this together, you have the Quan Sao. And all those are great, but you don't necessarily see them so prominently because they're happening so fast. All right. So this is to the Wing Chun and fighting community in general. You gotta put into practice, exactly how you work out. So we work out in our school to work towards the advancement of our fighting. Again, it would be great, just throw a straight 1, 2, if I did this. It would be great if I did this. And it looks beautiful. I could do a Quan and Gung. But it doesn't get you anywhere. And if you train like that too long, your body just gets used to it. And then when the real fight happens, that's all you know how to do. For me, especially at my age, I'm trying to take care of things quickly. So he's standing here, boom, I want to hit, and I want to take care of things quickly. And I want to finish as fast as I can. I'm not looking for an audience. So anyway, I hope you learned something from this and gained some insight. Give this guy some love. Give him your Instagram.
Thank you. Oh, it's Thai Sensei 07. Thai Sensei 07. So
Okay.
check it out.
And then you can follow both of us, Wing Chun Science. So it's wing.chung.science. You can check out our Instagram. There's a bunch of videos out there that shows conditioning and all the fun, cool stuff we do. All right. Thank you for your time.
God bless you guys.
Appreciate it.